Good evening, everyone. It's a great Friday today. It is the 18th, isn't it? It's the 18th of April. Last night was just such a sort of shell-shocked show that we've decided to sort of do another one where
a little bit more respectable.
Yeah, where Mr. B can sort of like talk about what he saw instead of saying, I don't remember anything about the match. And me talking about how I feel like I've lost my virginity. I don't know,
God.
But yeah, right. Before as you lot know, me and Mr. B just basically get in 10 minutes early and start chatting to each other, and then we realise we've got to start the show. This is what's going to happen tonight. So I'm going to do the comments first, and then we're probably going to talk about Kobe Mainoo's new physique a bit more.
Yeah.
All right. Did anyone see Hoyland's tweet? I did. So Hoyland had a picture of him hugging Harry Maguire, saying, "When you get a semi because you're in the semi."
Is that what
yeah. It's about his cock.
Oh, Hoyland Rasmus.
Dave P, my man, let me know your thoughts on season 2 of The Last of Us. I haven't actually seen it yet, but judging from your profile picture, I suspect you're a fan. Hard one to understand, though. Was more excited by Bruno's Rabona. Yeah, that was a little bit crazy to be doing that at 2-0. And I think, did Mount do one recently in a match as well? They're probably pissing about on the pitch, on the training ground.
My body can't do that.
Can you not? You can't do it?
No, my brain just, my brother can do it. My younger brother can do it. I'm sure my son can do it. I just can't get round the technique, BT. I just can't do it.
It's all about like planting the foot you're not kicking with.
Yeah, maybe that's the issue. Yeah.
When I see people trying it, like what they kind of do is they keep their foot planted and try and work their foot around their ankle. Where what you want to do is you want to sort of do it in a motion where you plant your foot and then it comes round. So you want to be in motion when you do it.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. There's some tips for you out there. Right, my man, we have to give a very, very special shout out to Stuart. Extraordinary Mr. B. What did you think of Stuart's cameo last night?
Absolutely fantastic. I watched it again this morning. I tried to clip it, but I'm not sure how to clip it. But Stuart, I know you were. I think we all wished we were where you were yesterday. Like in with the crowd going nuts. I mean, that drive home must have been amazing. And I thought obviously he didn't have to get into work unless he did have to work today. But I know he was talking about getting back at whatever and getting up for 8 o'clock. Maybe that was a game before. But anyway, Stuart, well done. I hope you got home safe anyway, man.
Yeah, I'd love that every week, to be honest. Just like a quick sort of phone in from Old Trafford. Just like during half time, I was getting like videos of like Bruno taking corners and things. It was great. You add so much to the channel doing that, Stuart, and we're so pleased that you take the time. You know, like you should be on the phone to your wife or like friends and stuff like that. Not us, but it's just fantastic. Andrew is in the house. Hopefully, we're not going to be either too positive or too negative this evening, Andrew. It's Chat Sport. Good evening to you. Kieran has a question for you, Mr. B. Do you know what the score was?
Yeah, actually, look, last night was a myth. Today the clouds have gone, and I'm back to normal. But yesterday was a beautiful night, man. I think I went to bed at 5 o'clock. So I don't know how. It's weird. I was saying to the missus, I understand why them players get addicted to sleeping pills.
Yeah,
because they would have had to be up to get to training, and they have to get them. I was up until 5 o'clock, and I didn't play. Can you imagine what Harry Maguire and Mainoo felt like this morning?
Well, even after football matches, I do struggle to sleep. To be honest, if they're like sometimes when I played for the university team, we used to get back really late, like maybe 8 or 9 o'clock or something like that, and you're still so full of adrenaline that at 2 o'clock in the morning, like you need to go for a walk or something. I've no idea how they handle it, but I was like, I think 3 o'clock in the morning, like I was investigating, like if Katy Perry had actually opened the door to her space module or whatever it was.
Oh God, Jaffa, what have you done?
I know, but the second we're out of the UEFA League, this becomes the Moon Channel landing.
100%, 150%. But look, maybe we won't go out. Maybe we'll go all the way.
Yeah, man. I mean, you just can't. It's just I'm too in love with the team at the moment not to think we're going to win.
See, and we've hated them all season apart from in Europa.
Yeah,
it's. I understand. I understand it's easier, and I don't care. I don't care if we play a team and we play Bilbao, and in the first leg they get 2 men sent off. I'm happy. Whatever makes it easiest. I don't want Tottenham. I called it early. I don't want Tottenham.
I've got Bodo Glimt, and I'm sure Bodo Glimt are a good team. You'd expect a Premiership team to get past them, I think.
Did we draw with Bodo Glimt? Isn't that who we played in the group?
Did we play them in the Champions League or something?
Was it Champions
League? We played
League?
them. We played them recently.
Didn't we play them in this year's Europa?
If someone has direct access to their own memories, could they tell us about playing Bodo Glimt? We can't remember. Mark Ugate's here, Mr. B. He said it was a fantastic win for the boys. He started off the goals. Big up, everyone here. Big yourself up, Mark. I was absolutely delighted that Ugarte scored last night, to be honest.
I went to say to you, BT, of all of the players, but that was a good move, though,
Yeah, but Rasmus was good in that move as well.
It's about the only thing he did.
Yeah, but it still like contributed, because I feel that I've blackpilled Dora quite a lot on Ugarte by talking about what I don't like and stuff, and I can see a lot of people getting on his back. I don't think he's a particularly good player, but he's a United player, and we've got to give him 18 months. So I'm pleased that after a really poor performance against Newcastle, he's done what quite a lot of United players haven't done in the past, and sort of like instantly like come out and put in a better performance, and like to try to up his level, because he's got to add scoring goals to his game, and he's had a fair few chances, but like
that's the issue. I think before we weren't creating the chances.
Yeah,
I think we're now creating the chances, and they maybe fall into the player. Not saying the players that we don't want it to fall to, but we've got killers in the team, players in certain positions who we know will hit the target and not hit it over the bar. So I just think
there's Bruno, but who are the other killers?
Well, we've only got one. We've got Mainu now. I think Mainu in those positions, I classify him as a he doesn't tend to thwack the ball. He tends to try and get himself set. He's not like Garnacho, who's always off balance. He sets himself.
Good point. That's a very good point. Is that like I haven't seen Kobe really strike the ball with venom, but his technique is so good and he's so balanced that it's much more sort of precision. I said to Yaba last night that elements of his game remind me of Thierry Henry in the box, to be honest. Just the creation of space and the sort of standard finish that he has.
I mean, the goal he scored yesterday, the first touch was class, but he hit the ball so early once it came down that nobody had a chance to react to what he was doing. Opposition-wise, they were done.
What I think what's so great about it is it's 3 touches. Like the pass that Casemiro played. Yeah, I've talked about it on the channel before. That is my favourite pass in football, and it really catches defences out. Like instead of receiving on your back foot, flipping the other foot across to just like sort of chip it with the outside of your foot. It can really do defences. But you normally play that ball over 20 or 30 yards because it's so difficult to control. But Kobe killed it, opened the angle, and stuck it in with 3 men on him. It's such a high quality goal. I can't stress enough that there are not many players who can score that goal. Like every midfielder that you boys want brought in, like Adam Wharton, Vitinha, stuff like that. I'm not sure they can do that.
That's why he's got to stay.
Yeah.
That's why he has to stay. He has to stay. I'm hoping that they do what they need to do and give us some good news before the end of the season. That would be nice.
Yeah, sort the contract out, sign him up, lads. We've got Danny B with his dog in the house. Have we got anything else? T. Okay, hello T. I'm going to assume it's Tyrone. I'm not sure. Could be anyone. If you're new, welcome.
No, that's Tyrone.
I don't think it is because Tyrone's got his girlfriend in his picture now, and he doesn't like anime.
Okay,
a man who probably doesn't like anime, but is Drayton Manor's finest, is Damien Walsh. Standout performance from Casemiro. Yeah, Mr. B, we've got a kind of love-hate relationship with Casemiro on this channel, but genuinely, I think in the last since Rude, I think was the caretaker manager, we've been very pro having Casemiro in the team. And last night, what did you think of his performance, like overall?
I thought he did really well. He played. Did he play the whole game? Did he play 120 minutes? Yeah. I mean, look, we've called him the pudding, rightly.
Mm-hmm.
I think Amorim now trusts him and understands what he can do. And again, that's more to do with time than anything else. Maybe, it's weird. I wasn't happy having Ugarte and Casemiro in the middle of the park for the game. Yes, I just thought because we're at home. But you called it. Rude played it, and we were winning games when they played both of them together. So there must be an understanding. They're both, maybe it's the South American in them and the fact that they're both of them hate to lose as well. He's played well. He's played well. It's nice to have him in the team, and we don't think he's now a waste of money. Before it's he's on 300. Nobody's talking about Casemiro's money. Nobody, and that's my point. If you play well, nobody cares what you earn.
Well, last night he was extraordinary in extra time.
Where did he get the legs from? Where does he get the legs from? And then he's involved in 3 goals in the game. He won the penalty and had 2 assists. Won the penalty and had 2 assists. Right. He can sleep. He can sleep nice tonight. And maybe it will be another trophy to add to his. All right, I don't think he's ever won the Europa, which is fine. That was never the level that he was at. But if he goes at the end of the season now,
important to them.
Of course it is. Of course it is. That trophies, pride. He could be completing the set. But he's never going to get conference. But he could be completing the set at the end of the day. If he's won all of those Champions Leagues, all right, it's slightly less. But you win the tournament that you're in.
No, I think like if we win the Europa League and he goes to Saudi or leaves or something like that, he'll have 3 cups from his time at Manchester United, and he'll see that as a good legacy.
Will the fans?
I think so. Yeah. Like, we never did anyone really think that we were going to win a league, like when we sort of when Casemiro came in. Like, no, Ten Hag could just come in.
Yeah, but that first season, Casemiro was disgusting, but he was fantastic that first season for us.
Mr. B, he didn't get into the team until after the World Cup.
Yeah, because he was playing bloody Scottel McTominay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, your boy Ericsson kept him out. Yeah, there you go. But once he was in, I thought that first season he was good for us. I mean, if he leaves now, I don't think nobody moans. Beginning of the season, if he had gone in January, Casemiro, he deserves. But now, he goes, give us the trophy, man. He goes if he's held high, and then will the club still be looking to sell him? These are the things that, all right, he's on mega money and he's not going to take a reduction. But maybe him playing like this now puts him in the shop window for the move that maybe we thought that we were going to get in the summer.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not even sure if it really matters. I just I look at what we expected from Casemiro, and I think that we've kind of seen it last night. He's had some really defining moments since he's been here. He scored a last-minute header against Chelsea, got in the crowd. I think like Leacher was like kissing fans and things. He scored like, it wasn't the winner, but he scored the opener in the Carabao Cup final against Newcastle, and then obviously Rashford added one later. And he's basically helped wrestle victory from the jaws of defeat last night. And I think he's done like really well recently, and I think it's also a credit to Amorim, to be honest, because with Ten Hag, he came in. We had those 2 games against Brighton and Brentford that were disasters, and then he brought it, and then like Ten Hag had to get like players in like Delo and McTominay who didn't play beforehand because of the physicality of the league. But Amorim, I think, has done it a bit better, where he instantly wrote off Casemiro and wasn't interested, didn't want to see him play, all this sort of stuff. And he's realised how much he adds to the team, and he's kind of like, he's kind of like found a place for him.
So is that bad? Would you say that was bad management in the first place in regards to just writing a player off? Because I know obviously you'll say, do you? So you feel that managers come in and write players? They say they come in with you actually feel that they come in and write players off straight away, yeah?
Pretty much. I think that so when United start talking to you, you would get videos, like data. You'd have a look at the squad, and you'd see who fits in and stuff, and you'd have an idea of like how you want to play and all that kind of stuff. So you turn up on day one and you know more about the players than you let on, and you'll give them a speech about how everyone has got a fresh start and a clean slate. But he would have had some preconceptions that Casemiro couldn't cover open spaces, that he's too weak on transitions, all this kind of stuff. Like, you're looking a lot of the time, I believe you're probably looking at what got the last manager the sack and hoping not to repeat the results. And I think he thought that Casemiro contributed massively to that, like mainly the open midfield. And he's seen Casemiro. He's like sort of seen him around the club, what he can do and things, and realised that he's got to find a place for him in the team. He's got to make it work. And that's managing your resources to me. So I'm perfectly happy with someone coming in with a preconceived idea of the squads and who they want to play and changing their mind. I think that's kind of a big part of like management. But, I mean, you're the manager, so you tell me.
No, well, I tend to go more for ability first. I mean, I don't really, if they're in the squad, there's a reason why I've picked him. Some people might not play the big games, but I mean, Casemiro's been playing the big games, but I would rather have a set. But yeah, it's good to have a squad and a squad of players that you trust. I think a lot of it's down to trust. I think Amorim now trusts what Casemiro can do. Like you said, he's had a look at certain things, especially in training. He always seems a happy guy. He always seems a positive kind of guy around the place. And did you see the one of the tweets of just Casemiro when Maguire scored, and it's just the camera's just on him on his own, and he's walking, and he looks like he's. I love to see that. He does love Man United. Maybe we probably don't show him as much love as he's deserved, as he's put in. But I think we were right to. I think we're fair.
Yeah,
well, we try to be. Yeah, I understand that there's some players that I just can't get my head around. Obviously, you know who they are or who they were, but in all, I think I'm quite fair. Yeah, we called him a pudding, and I would have let him go at Christmas, no problem. But this is what these professional footballers do. They've got their self-pride, and I think that's what we need in the team, and experience again. These are players that the younger players can learn off. The midfielders can learn off him. The defenders are now learning off Maguire and De Ligt to a certain extent, although De Ligt is quite young. But our forward line have nobody to learn from. And that's our biggest issue.
You see, I'm not completely swayed by this learn from argument. I think that competition and the standard of player that you're playing against is where you get the improvements from. So like, I don't think that you go and get say, Jamie Vardy to come in and be like a teacher.
No,
You know what do you know what I mean? Like,
you want a player who, what I mean is a player who will come in. Okay, if we got an Osimhen, that's the first one that's coming to my head.
Yeah.
Our strikers at the club are going to be learning stuff from Osimhen, and the defenders are learning how to defend against. And that's what I'm trying to bring up. Yeah, that's more what I was kind of thinking. That level.
I think we're in agreement. Then is that one thing that we've always known about classic Manchester United with Keane and the Nevilles and Giggs and all that is that the standard in training was higher than the standard on match day. And that meant that to get in the team, you had to be better, you had to be focused, all these things. And like, if you're a Nana, I mean, is Rasmus Højlund really working you, like, in training every day? Do you need to be pushing those shots out, or are they coming too central and so on? Likewise, is a Nana giving Højlund as much of a, a test? Are like Yoro and Heaven and Goodwill, I forget his last name, are they, experienced enough to be able to manhandle Højlund the way every Premier League defender seems born to? Probably not. So that, like, I agree with you. And if you get Osimhen in the squad, like Chido, Rasmus, Xerxes, they're all going to have to match his impact in training before they worry about matching his impact in game days. And yes, I'm really excited. But having watched the game again, Mr. B, I'm still really not convinced by Dorgu. And Tyrone is telling me I've gone over the top. What are your thoughts on his performance last night?
Technically, he's not what we wanted. I think technically Amas is a much better player than him. Physically, he's a beast. And I understand why they bought him.
Yeah.
If they both have the time to maybe battle for the position in regards to one game, it may well be Amas playing. There's not a set one, Dorgu or Amas. We spent 30 million, but we've had Amas in the squad already. We'll go on to just a couple of things I want to talk just about the kids, what he said about the kids. So we'll probably go into that part afterwards. But competition is good. If Dorgu sees things that are getting Amas into the team ahead of him, and they're just the same age, that could be a rivalry that could be set the club up for the next 10 years in regards to that they're pushing. This is me dreaming, obviously, but it's good to have competition, especially in your position. And I think if it's competition around your age, then that makes it even better. I know you said Amas has moved in with
Heaven, isn't it?
Was it Heaven?
Or is it Yoro? Heaven or Yoro? He's moved in.
I think it's Heaven. Those are good things for the club. The fact that Amas has actually moved in with Heaven, is Amas really going to be going anywhere?
God, I'm so jealous of those two. Can you imagine being teenagers at Manchester United, like getting a student flat or something together?
Don't. Just they listen. I was thinking of completely other things that I hope that they're not thinking about. As having the student flats, there are a few things came into my mind, and I'll be honest, none of it had to do with football. So
they won't be doing what Nani and Ronaldo were up to. They'll be playing PlayStation, and young boys mature very differently now. I think that I think that what they'll be doing is just having a very kind of fun, immature flat and stuff. Like, at least
hope so.
I hope so, but. Johnny Evans, when he went out to Belgium for Royal Antwerp, I mean, that's one of the things no one mentions about the loan system, is it allows players to kind of have that year of just living like arseholes.
Yeah, but that's good. What it does do, it makes you're living on your own. There's a lot of things you need to learn. How to, the people who didn't know how to cook. Even if it's spaghetti bolognese, it's something. It's meat and pasta. It's something to eat. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's great. Would I want my son to leave me for a year? No. But
he's not like a professional footballer.
No, I know.
Manchester United, is he?
God, can you imagine? Oh my God.
Well, I used to
Anyway,
like it that, like, apparently Johnny Evans and Simpson and there was someone else out there, it might have been Fletcher. They used to spend their time driving around in a hired car with super soakers, like squirting people, which I think is quite sort of harmless fun. But as a Manchester United player, you'd never be able to get away with it. And I sometimes think that people forget that aspect of the loan system, that it's also allowing them to fuck about a bit and grow up away from the spotlight.
like, yeah, agreed. And
And
hopefully
like
they do
Garnacho, I
grow up.
feel could have done with that, like having cakes of like Messi, like was it Messi and
It's the
Cristiano
dwarfs
and
at the dwarfs
dwarfs?
at the
Yeah,
party. Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. I have to admit, that was quite funny, actually. I don't know why he did it, and I still don't know why he did it, but I get it.
that's because he's just like, he is what he is. But
More money than
I'm
sense.
titanium. Johnny Evans actually stole a taxi in his 30s with Danny Drinkwater for West Bromwich Albion. Which is one of my favourite stories in football. But yeah, like, so for Dorgu and stuff, I mean, I felt that everyone, and also good evening to our great friend Vincent. I hope you're doing well. I think that like Dorgu's got a hell of a lot to do, and I'm really pleased that Amass and Shaw are kind of around now. I think it puts pressure on him to get up, because everyone here hates Delo. You call him Daisy. Delo's got 2 goals and 2 assists in his last 7 games. He's producing, to be fair to him.
Yeah.
Like, it might not be consistently and stuff like that, but he's become one of our best outlets in the league. And if you saw those numbers for another Premier League player in that position, you'd all say that's the kind of player that I'd like to get in.
Yeah, it's just the rest. I don't know what position. I'm not sure what position he plays in. Or what his best position is.
Daisy?
Yeah. What do you think his best position is, right wing back?
Yeah. Well, all right. The positions you can play him in are a right-sided centre back,
No.
the right wing back, or the left wing back. For me, right wing back is by far his best position of those.
Would you play Ahmad ahead of him in that position?
Probably not. I'd have Ahmad in the team, but I think that like Delo's ability to run backwards and forwards, like, to be fair, actually, last night is the first time I think I've seen him struggle physically. Like, he looked dead on his feet earlier than others.
And Amorim has called it, which will probably make us drift on to our next point, to be fair, saying that a lot of the players were tired.
Yeah.
And that he's gonna go with the younger players for in the Premier League games. I don't suppose he's gonna throw 7 youngsters in. But what I'm hoping now is that he was talking about Bruno's levels. Maybe Bruno's gonna get dropped, Maybe we're gonna see Kone, central midfielder. Maybe we're gonna see Chido, because if Rasmus gets injured, as much as we hate him and we think we're playing with 10 men, Chido can't play in Europa.
Yeah. But they've had a look at Chido, and I don't think they think he's ready.
Well, something needs to be done. Something's going to have to be done, because -9 can't play the rest of the season.
Kobe?
Every game. Well, I mean, he tried Kobe. And maybe
Kobe can finish, we think.
He can finish. Well, I think he can finish. But is he going to do the extensive running that you want Rasmus to be doing? I mean, maybe they'll tweak it, and maybe they'll have Garnacho be the stretcher.
I think if you play Kobe the way he's played Xerxes, you get a better performance out of Kobe in that role.
Yeah, because then you're saying that his natural game is to drop off.
Yeah, like receiving back to goal, laying things off, spinning in behind, I think. Yeah, all right, I'm just going to address this from Andrew. Last night, Mazraoui was taken off and Lindelof left the stadium. There was some kind of family emergency. Andrew says that his home got burgled. This is something
that's what I thought
in the Northwest.
That's
like
what
European nights.
they haven't. I mean, the thing is, they haven't said. They haven't said. But when I heard it, the fact that both of them came off, I just assumed that maybe it was
It's that
more to
Scouse
do with the
gang
house.
again.
Yeah. Okay.
Like for those of you who don't know, this happened to Angel Di Maria. It's happened to
Veron.
Liverpool players, City players, United players on Champions League or international nights. They sometimes go and rob family homes, and I believe that lots of people take out excess security and stuff to look after it. But if you hear your home has been burgled and your wife and children were in it, there's more important things than Olympic Lyon at home. And I fully support like Mazraoui and Lindelof going to check on their families for it. So here we go. Tyrone, not being rude, how many times is his home going to be burgled? Pay for security. And then look at this. You're so schizo, Tyrone. I love it. I hate them. They're the reason we lost Di Maria. Yeah, Stuart's saying he heard Lindelof got burgled. And also, sorry, I missed you, Mark. It's always nice to see you. I always forget the name of that gentleman on the left. Is it Bernie Hill?
Benny Hill.
Did he have a song about having the fastest milk cart or something?
Yeah, in the fastest milk cart in the West, yeah. But
yeah.
you know, it's funny. My mum wouldn't let me watch Benny Hill. She said she said he was too vulgar. Yeah, she said he was too vulgar. But I used to always try and sneak it at 8 o'clock, 8:30, because I used to have to go to bed. So that 8:30, but you know, I'm gonna go to the toilet, and I used to see him running after the women fast. Everybody else used to talk about it, and I didn't know what they were talking about for years. Anyway, sorry, reminiscing.
That's all right. It's funny that. It's like my dad, when I was younger, used to play me that Milkman song all the time.
It's weird.
Very different attitudes to parenting, I guess.
Yeah, but did he let you watch Benny Hill? That's the thing. He might have let you play the song. Do you actually remember watching Benny Hill?
Well, I'm not sure, because I had a cousin called Ian in Corby who used to sell dodgy videos. And I remember I saw loads of stuff I shouldn't, like Aliens and RoboCop and
bloody hell
and stuff like that when I was about 6. And it's obviously had no effect on me, Mr. B, as you can tell.
Yeah, innit?
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure about. I just want to say, Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton. Honestly, go on YouTube.
Norman Wisdom and Harold Lloyd were my two. Anything Harold Lloyd in, I thought was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Who was he? Who's Harold Lloyd?
Harold Lloyd he was black and white, but he was one of the silent ones. Did all his, in those days they did all of the old stunts and stuff.
I love it so much.
So yeah, he was my first. Harold Lloyd was the one I used to remember waking up thinking, "Oh, Harold Lloyd's on," and thinking, "Oh my god."
I absolutely love those things. It's that I remember when I was living out in Chile, the 3 most famous people from the United Kingdom were Princess Diana. Every hairdresser was called Princess Diana. Bobby Charlton, who I can't tell you how massive he is in South America. That Endrick to Real Madrid is obsessed with him.
Yeah, they honestly, call him Bobby.
Yeah, but Bobby Charlton's massive out there. But the weird one was Mr. Bean. Because it's there's no dialogue, they showed it all around the world, and everyone knows Mr. Bean, which I think is quality. I have watched Invincible, Tyrone. Right, back to football. We should have got the left back from Benfica, the Spanish kid. Is this the one we had? Alvaro Fernandez?
Yeah, Man City's supposed to be looking at him.
But they probably are. I mean, you've got to think if he's a good player, everyone's looking at him. Yeah, it is. All right. An odd one. I feel that Ten Hag kind of they basically sort of threw the babies out of the bathwater, didn't they?
Yeah.
Endrick, we should try and sign Endrick on loan. I actually agree. I think Endrick would play for Manchester United if he loves Bobby Charlton so much. I can see it happening, but I don't want to get another child in, which brings us to one of your points, Mr. B. I'm a little bit reticent about sticking the kids and kind of fucking off the league for the rest of the season. I'm not I'm not on board with this decision.
Not at all, or you don't think it's a good idea at all, yeah?
Yeah. I think I'll give you my 3 reasons. First reason is Stuart Marshall. Like, for those of you who don't know, Stuart was on the show a couple of days ago, and I can't remember if it was on air or off air, but he talked about his day. But regardless of it, I'm going to tell you what it involved. It involved hiring cars, getting up super early, driving the length of the country, like going to the game, coming back, no sleep, all that kind of stuff. And that it's not just Stuart. There are hundreds of people who do stuff like this. Like, I used to live in Manchester, and I got to know a guy who would travel up from London to watch the games, and he wouldn't get the last train home. Like, if he missed the last train home, he'd end up sleeping at like Piccadilly, like waiting for the 6 o'clock in the morning train or whatever. And you've got to you've got to respect the fans, that like their time and their money, and you can't be like pissing off the league. The second thing is what Roy Keane said the other day about you don't get to choose what is a big or isn't a big game as a Manchester United player. Like, you can't say that some are big and some aren't. Every game is a massive game, and I'm fully on board with that. I think by doing this, we set a dangerous precedent, and we kind of erode a little bit of club traditions and culture. So I'm okay with rotating players and putting a few people in, but not at the detriment of winning football matches.
I mean, what he said was, where's his word in here? It's not, he's just saying the guys, right? So he's saying that there are a lot of guys at risk of injury. So he's
Okay.
gonna try and save them. He said it's not the best moment to put some kids into play, because again, they need a strong base. I think this is more what you were talking about, to show what they can do. But in this moment, we need to do it. Sometimes you have to have surprises. He said Aiden Heaven just played. I can be honest, he only played because he had a lot of injuries. But obviously, he's proved that he's now worthy of fighting for the place once he gets injured. So maybe he's looking at it that way. But I mean, something's got to be done, BT, because these players were running on empty. I mean, he specifically called out Bruno, and you were saying that you thought that Dalot looked tired towards the end of the half. So moving forward, I mean, even if it's for the Wolves game, just the Wolves game in particular, there's going to be changes that are going to have to be made. Do you think maybe Mazraoui will be coming back now and Lindelof will be coming back? They only played a half, but there was reasons why they only played a half.
You got to kind of like that. That's not like, you know, you're out for 6 weeks with a hamstring or something. That is when they feel that they're focused, they'll come back. And I suspect that what that means is talking to the club, getting a bit of extra security, making sure the wife and kids are okay and things. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought it would take particularly long. Like, I'm sure they're shaken up and stuff like that, but hopefully, like, both of them can sort of sort their families out. But unfortunately, that is up to them as individuals when they're ready to come back. And we shouldn't, like, I don't know about you, but I'm not demanding like them to come back straight away with what's going on with their families. You can't be making those demands of family men, in my opinion. I've got some support from 2 of our match going fans, which I'm quite pleased with. Everyone else is saying fuck off the league. But if that's what you said, I'm more on board, because that's also about the players and things.
Welfare, yes. So okay. Yeah. So moving towards maybe Wolves in particular.
Oh, do you want to pick a team?
Do you know what?
Should we do that?
Can we? Yeah, well, why not?
Yeah. Give me a second.
Why not?
I just don't want to expose any personal details and things like that.
You do what you need to do to sort out your screen. But yeah, you know what? Maybe that will give us something to do. Yeah, because I'm trying to think now. He specifically, is Hamas going to play? Is he going to give Cheeto the chance and risk that -9 gets injured? You know, is Bruno going to get the wrist? Is Bruno actually going to get the rest? Did what's his name get concussion? Euro with that mad defensive that defensive
That's
header that he
quality,
did on
man.
the floor. Oh, those are the things that I just love. He put him. I'm not
Really,
saying
did you love Phil Jones? People made fun of Phil Jones for
Do you know
what I
what?
considered proper defending.
Why I didn't like Phil Jones because he was never available, and we gave him a contract when we shouldn't have gave him a contract. That was why. It
That's not
wasn't.
his fault.
Yeah, I know it's not his fault, but it made me hate him.
Okay,
You know, it's
fair,
just like
fair enough.
yeah, it's like Luke Shaw. I just think they're you know, it just sucking money from the club when they could have just effed off somewhere else. That's all. That's how I see it. You know, forget about their personal life and that they're settled in Manchester and you know their kids go to school, blah blah blah. I just see it as, you know,
No, I'll never turn on Phil Jones. Like what genuinely one of my favourite moments in the post Fergie years was Phil Jones getting man of the match against Wolves, I think. Do you remember when he came in randomly for a game and we got to hear the Phil Jones song again? That man put his body on the line for United, and I've got a lot of time for him. The same way I used to have a lot of time for Luke Shaw until he put his body on the line for England. And I don't like England.
There you go. See?
Right. I need Mr. B. Sorry, I'm banging my mic.
Cool.
I need the chat to help us out here, or you. There are probably youth players that are quite close to the first team and have been training. We don't know who they are, so we probably need a list of them and someone to tell us what position they play, like as if we're a proper Manchester United fan channel.
Yeah.
So who's in contention, do you think, for the youngins?
Well, Chido has to be because he's been around. Are we classifying Amas as a... Yeah. Okay, well, I think Chido, Amas. Who's the midfielder? Kone, right?
Yeah, Kone's like a sort of a 6. Like, we bought him in the summer.
Yeah, I mean, his name has been mentioned. Maybe him. What's that, 3?
Yeah. There's Morehouse, there's Fletcher, there's
Morehouse
Goodwill.
is the ball carrier. They talk about Morehouse a lot.
There's also been Goodwill Kunkunki or something, who is he's only 16, but he's definitely trained a huge amount with the first team.
16.
Yeah, so I think who we're looking at are Collier, Coney, Morehouse. I don't think. Do you think the goalkeeper could get a go? I don't myself.
No, I don't. I think he'll keep Anana. Anana has to play himself into some sort of form somewhere along the line. So I think they'll stick with I mean, he might play. He won't play Bayinde. I think he'll stick with Anana.
Yeah, I mean, Anana. I mean, obviously he made one Anana error, but he did some all right stuff in that game. It wasn't his worst of the season. All right, who do you think he needs rested?
Well, I said he's actually called Bruno. So
He specifically said Bruno, has he?
Yeah, he said Bruno. He said Bruno, something about Bruno being really tired or having to watch his levels. So
am I on screen, by the way?
Yeah, you're on screen now. Yeah,
right, I can't see you. So it's going to sound like I've got autism now because I can't read facial cues.
That's all right. You're on screen.
All right. You can sort the chat out. So we're going to stick Anana in chat. Yeah?
Yeah, I think we'll go with Anana. Guys in the chat, are we going to disagree that we're going to have a look at Anana? Let's see how much of them are still awake.
All right. Maguire and Yoro, do we expect to see them start?
Yoro. Yeah, I mean, Yoro's, what's he played? 12 games in a row? Something like that?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised to see him get rested, to be honest.
We've got Bayinde going in goal here, BT.
From most people,
well, yeah? We've got T and Andrew are saying Bayinde, that have commented. So, you know what, we'll as we've got the vote, we'll go Bayinde. Vincent's gone yes for Euro.
But is that to play or
to play? Is that Vincent? Is that a yes for Euro to play or to be rested?
Right, everyone, tell them to give us who they think are going to be the 3 centre backs. Because I think Heaven's going to play.
Dilit's not fit yet. Dilit's not fit yet. Andrew was just asking if Dilit's fit. So you reckon Heaven's going to play? Yeah,
I think Heaven's going to play.
Well, he's going to have to go with an experience then.
It has to. Could he? I mean, I don't think it's at the question for Lindelof to come in.
Do you think he'd be giving the game away? Oh, look, it doesn't really matter, does it? To be
He's
fair,
played the last 5, hasn't he, in the league?
you're right. You're right. Yeah, all right. We go Lindelof. I think Euros. I don't think they're gonna play. Could he play Mazraoui and rest Euro?
Do you know what he could do? He could do this.
Andrew's gone. Mazraoui, Lindelof, Maguire. I don't think that's balanced enough for what he wants.
I think
saying Heaven to play.
Could you see that? Heaven, Lindelof, Shaw.
Oh shit! Forgot about Shaw. I mean, Shaw does leave game time, and suppose he's not going to be starting. Shaw would, yeah. What? Give him an hour, maybe. Yeah. So Richard's saying Heaven if he's fit. Let's see, should play. Mitesh is saying should play Eli Harrison to see if he needs to go out on loan next year or start. Andrew is saying Heaven on the left and Mazraoui on the right.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Heaven's left plays on the left, doesn't he? But yeah, either phrase doesn't really make that much difference.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, we think Amas is going to play left wing back. Do we?
Yeah, I think Amas is going to go in at left wing back. Stuart's saying Lindelof, no way, he's garbage. We're talking about trying to get these players rested for the game, Stuart, because we Amorim was saying there's a lot of players were tired, so we're just seeing if we can get a half decent team out without flogging the players to death. T's actually agreed with us at left wing back. T's saying Shaw in the centre back position, Lindelof right centre back, and Heaven left centre back. Oh, Shaw in the centre back position.
I don't think he'll go centre back.
Yeah, I don't think he'll go centre back.
I think unfortunately you all have to accept Lindelof is very likely to start the game.
I think he'll start. I think Lindelof will start.
And we'll come back to this, but I wouldn't be surprised, right? If Mazraoui starts, I think he might start at right centre back. Yeah. So not a right centre back, at right wing back.
Really? So who goes right centre back?
I think Shaw will come into that back line. Like my team that I think that he will pick will be this. How do you spell Collier?
COLL or C? Is it COY?
Oh, hang on, I just saw him there. It's Coley, like Collymore. I think he might go with that.
T's asking what app you're using.
It's called lineupbuilder.co.uk. It says it on the fucking screen, Tyrone. Here.
There you go.
Sorry, Tyrone.
Friday night, bad language.
Yeah. Would you like Collier and Ugarte? Do you think that's a reasonable midfield to expect?
Yeah, but then we don't have I suppose we've got the driving from Collier. I'm not sure he would go Collier and Amas to start.
Well, I mean, the team that I think that he will stick out, I think Mount is going to start.
He needs a start.
I think that Hobie is going to start.
Yeah.
And it's this position here, the striker.
I don't know. Still goes with -9. I think he still goes with -9.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he's still going to play him.
Because if you hadn't have said Bruno isn't on the chopping block, I would have gone Mount, Mino, Bruno, like as the front three.
I mean, the thing is, because he's actually tried Mainu already and it didn't work. 10 minutes for 10 minutes, it was good. Yeah. Could he?
I think that team's okay, Mr. B, in terms of experience and youth.
Are we resting enough key players? Well, defensively, we've rested. He's gone no Casemiro, which is good. No Bruno, which is good.
No Delo,
No
no
Delo,
Maguire.
no Maguire. Yeah, we. I don't think Maguire can play. I don't think we can afford Maguire to start.
It has to be like that.
Mazraoui. I mean, that could be started because, as I said, Kobe needs games in his legs. Bruno needs Mount needs games in his legs. Ugarte looks like he'll play every minute of every single game.
Well,
And he's
he
been
hardly
rested.
played,
Right. And he's
compared to
been
everyone
rested.
else.
Right. And these last few games, he's actually been rested. So, I mean, could you be too far wrong? I'm still not sure about Bayinde in goal. I think he might go Onana. But apart from that, he could go that against Wolves quite easily.
And the thing for me is, if you play a mass, you can't have Heaven behind him. Like that's too experienced.
And I was more thinking about, and I was thinking about it, obviously central midfield wise. I mean, that could more work if Shaw plays left.
Yeah, to sort of like to help like a mass, and then you see like Heaven's got Mazraoui experience in front of him, like Collier's got Ugarte, Lindelof, Mount around him. Even Kobe's very experienced. Like,
right, let me go for a couple of these messages and get this. So
yeah.
Richard Hawkins has got, I would take Collier out and give Jack Fletcher a game. Mitesh is saying, thinking Kakonki will come off the bench for sure. T saying he couldn't read it. You've gone through the effort to get all the pictures up, so he was unsure. T, Garnacho's false 9 would work. No, it bloody wouldn't. I don't agree with that. Richard is saying he's going to play -9. Andrew is quite happy with this team.
I've changed my mind.
maybe it's a clone. Maybe it's a clone. Dave P is saying he reckons you're going to see Ericsson in there. If we just poo-pooed Ericsson out of this.
Okay. I'm making some changes now.
Okay, well, we'll have a look at that. T saying that's a good team, bath time. We'll see if they still think it's a good team afterwards. Stuart saying Mount will start. He's also going to put Maguire up top. He's not sure the legs of the team, Andrew. And Stuart saying Onana starts. And T has got a picture of some square thing with a, I don't know what the hell that is. But he's got a square thing in there. So, yeah. So, right. So, you changed the team up, BT. Let me have a look and see.
I've made some adjustments based on what chat said. I've taken false 9 out, put Garnacho in, and sent Mainu to number 9.
I think Garnacho with Mainu in that position, Garnacho probably needs, but he has to play on the right. Don't you think he has to be playing on the right?
No, because he's got to be the goal scorer.
Oh, we're done then. What are we doing?
What are we doing? Like, Mount is running off him. They're all combining to get Garnacho through on goal because
he ain't going to pass him. Yeah, he ain't going to pass him nobody else, is he?
He's the only one with pace, and this team has to sit deep. Like, my only concern is Wolves we're playing, yeah?
Yeah, Wolves, yeah.
Ericsson, I'm not sure. I'm going to go back to Toby because he's got power, or physicality.
So, who in this team stops Cunha's runs?
It's got to be Collymore. It's got to be Collymore.
Collier.
It's got to be Stan Collymore. It's got to be Collier. Like, and I heard the shouts for one of the Fletcher twins to come in. I think you have to look at it like a bit like a hierarchy, and that Collier's got, he's played first team football and stuff, and like I'd be perfectly fine with that starting. I think it's just Lindelof and Mazraoui are, in my view, injury doubts. But that's a fresh team that haven't played a huge amount of minutes.
And then if the other guys need a little top up of minutes before the end of the game, then they can get it.
Yeah. Well, sure, Kobe and Mount aren't going to finish the match.
Yeah, agreed. So are we writing off the result in the Wolves game then? If that's the case?
I think that is a team that that can sort stuff out, because Mount, Garnacho and Kobe, I think, are probably our best transition combination. Like Kobe and Mainu and Mount can piss about keeping the ball and passing it to each other and knock it over the top for Garnacho to run onto. Because he's our only player really with any pace to trouble a back line. And then Collier and Ugarte, I think, can compete in the midfield and win the balls for those transitions. And I think that if we play how we sort of played against Lyon away, where we basically crowded the centre and allowed balls into the box, Bayindir works quite well with Lindelof, because Bayindir is much more aggressive at coming for crosses. And that team's a little bit weak in the air, I feel. But it's what we've got to do. So I think there's quite a lot of natural symmetry like on the pitch here. And looking at this team, I understand how it can play and how it can win the football match.
Okay.
So I guess we asked them to rate it out of 10.
Come on then, guys. Let's see your numbers. I know, Stuart, you were shooting off, let's say, like a notch. I understand that. But before you go, what are you giving? I'm not going to even say it's BT's team. It's a channel team. We tried to go with a couple of things that you said. We did ignore a few, to be fair. But what are we rating this team out of 10? I will give it a. I'm trying to think who I wouldn't play. I'll probably give it an 8. Yeah, I'll probably give it probably a 7 or an 8.
I'd give it a 6 or a 7, because I think it's weak in the air.
Well, yeah, we've got no strength in Lindelof. Heaven. I'm just not sure Heaven starts, but I can see Shaw, Lindelof, Amas. I can see everybody starting in this game, bar Heaven and Bayindir. Everybody else, I think, starts.
Yeah. And also, like, how near is Ahmad?
I don't think he can start. No, I don't think he starts until he gets that sub, that 15 minutes, because he normally gives them 15, half an hour, and then depending on who they are. I mean, Amas looks like he's healed quick, so maybe it will be better. Yay. Maybe it will be better, but I don't see him back before, I reckon, maybe 2 weeks. What are we in? Could he be back for next week?
No, I think we're looking at the second leg for Ahmad's earliest start. Like, so he could, I think.
Yeah, you could be right. 2 weeks.
Yeah. Like, he's got to sort of get straight. And the other thing is he's got to win his place back, because he's competing for either one of the 10s or right wing back. And to be honest, I know you all hate him. I know he's called Daisy now, but Delot has got the numbers in the last, he's on a goal or assist every other game.
Play a man on form. That's all he can do. That's all he can do.
He's got to get back into the team.
Richard has gone 7 for your team, BT.
Oh, that's nice.
Wow, Jesus. I think he's been cloned. Andrew's gone 8.5. T's gone 6.
Mm-hmm.
Double A has gone 6.5. Yep, TV Sawyer. Does that mean it's 12 now? Chat Sport has gone 7.5. Mitesh has said they can't do anything with the ball.
Yeah.
T's saying Ahmad will be fit for the Euro final if we make it there. Stuart's gone 7 and Vincent's gone 7. I mean, 7, I think that's quite a good score.
I think that's for any team that's got Victor Lindelof and in there. I'm very, very surprised by that score. I mean, so I'm assuming that if people see that team out on Sunday, they'll look at it and they'll go, not our strongest team, understandable.
Yeah.
But like that's a respectable team to put out that has a chance of competing and winning that football match.
I mean, we probably played stronger players in the last one, and Wolves did us in the last game they played. So maybe. Maybe.
I'd be okay if I saw that team. As I say, I'd give it like 6 out of 10 or something. I'd be okay with that. I do think it's really important to rest Harry Maguire because he's not just our best defender anymore. He's our best striker.
Striker. It's disgusting, isn't it?
I think it's important not to burn Casemiro out because we've seen what he can do in European football where the standards are a little bit slower. And my God, he will want to really stick it to like Bilbao.
Spain. Yeah.
Like, I think that like Yoro, he had an odd game for me. He made quite a lot of errors, did a lot of things that I didn't like, going to ground and so on. But he was good. Like he carried the ball brilliantly up the pitch, and he played too many minutes for the young boy to start on Sunday for me. So he's got to be rested. And was there anyone else who played the full minutes? That don't think so. But I think Garnacho getting taken off early, he can play.
He'll start.
Yeah, Rasmus, I don't know.
I just think he's going to play out by default. But I just think they'll give him.
Yeah.
They'll say to him, "We'll give you 6," because if you don't play him, he's got no chance of scoring. So he needs to score a goal. So, yeah.
Do you know what? I'd like to see him without Garnacho. Like, I'd like to see Mount and Kobe or Kobe and Bruno.
Players who will play him in.
Yes, I wouldn't mind to see that kind of combination because we always seem to have a situation where Rasmus is shit and we blame it on Garnacho for being selfish. So, like, maybe see how Rasmus gets on with a Mount and a Kobe who are like, they're good players in small spaces. They're not going to like not knock the ball and run the way that Rasmus does. Wasn't it AMC? Is that attacking midfield central?
Mark, you put Yoro's name in there, right?
Yeah. He's got Yoro at number 10, Maguire at number 9. Presumably Rasmus is a right wing back or something now. By Anana number 6. What is this?
That is wow. Okay.
Look, he's faster than Minu.
It's not always about pace. It's not always about pace.
So much.
Yeah, it's nice to have it, but we're not a transit. It's not like we're Forest where we need a Langer. We want to be in control of the ball. So, wow,
it's just such. It's such like pace is very, very important. The physical side of football is extremely important. We're not like getting away from that, but one thing that is very disappointing about current YouTube is it is focused too much on pace. You don't need to be fast to play in a high line. You don't need to be fast to be a number 10 or a number 9. Football isn't a race. There's far, far, far more to it than that. You can be too slow to play in a lot of positions, and you do need runners. Like, there's no doubt about it. But pace isn't the most important determiner in what you're looking for in a quality player. In my very humble opinion.
Yeah, is Saka fast?
No, Adama Traore is faster and stronger than Saka.
And I would have Saka in my team every day.
Every day of the week. Every day of the week. Dan James is a fuck of a lot faster than who was that Man City player with the left foot that used to play for Leicester? Mahrez. Levels above Mahrez in terms of pace. I pick Mahrez every single day of the week because
techie players. There you go.
Yeah, it's like pace is important, but you need quality. And yeah, Andrew, you need pace in a team. You need an outlet. There's no doubt about it. But it doesn't mean that it disqualifies like players from playing because they're too slow. Like, I mean, Eriksen, up until a couple of days ago, I'd say I play him in every single Manchester United team that I picked because he can look after the ball and he's got a good feel for the game and things. You need to be able to kind of complement those players. And I think that with players like Bruno and Kobe in the number 10, you do need to stick a runner next to them. which is why I think Cunha is quite an exciting player because he can carry the ball, but also you need someone to get ahead of the ball, in my opinion. And this is what a lot of the time, because Rasmus is the furthest up the pitch and no one's ever running past him, like he has to work the channel. Like, no one, Ahmad and Bruno don't work the channels for him. He has to do all the running. So you see so many goals that are pulled to the back of the box or to a cutback zone or whatever, and a midfielder taps them in. I think that if we had like someone running beyond Rasmus, you'd see him in those areas a little bit more. And we can see if he can like apply the finishes there and stuff. But yeah, like I'm going to disqualify Yoro as a number 10 based on the fact that he's fast, because you saw him carrying the ball. He did all right, but that is not someone who is comfortable with the ball at his feet over 40 yards. And like he was a bit clumsy.
And I think in space, he's better than, if he had to go dribble past men, in a 10, you can expect him to be having to do something else, to be fair. Mitesh is saying he would pick Adama over Garnacho.
Would you?
No. I'm not taking Adama anywhere near our team.
I put him at a wing back. I think he'd be quite good. Like, as just a squad player there.
I'm not even sure about that, to be fair.
Would you take Adama or Delo at right wing back?
I'm taking Delo. Delo's a technical player. Maybe because I want more from him. Maybe that's what it is. Or maybe I feel he's blocking Ahmad's position. The errors he makes are killing us, but he's scoring goals and he's doing what he needs to be doing. So if he keeps on doing it, then, I flip-flop with Daisy. Sometimes I think just recently, I haven't thought he was all that. But he shut my mouth because he scored, as you said, he scored 4 in 5 or 5 in 6, whatever he scored. So he's
got 2 goals, 2 assists in his last 7 games. So 4 in 7.
You can't fault for goal involvements. Vincent's got one. We've had some very bad news. Joe Thompson, a former Man United academy player, has sadly passed away from cancer and will be sadly missed by his wife and family, and also the Man United family. Just the condolences from the agenda. I know you've got that right, Vincent. I'm not going to fact check you, but I know you're right. I would assume that you're right. So, condolences there. Sorry.
Also shows the importance of that charity that like Ineos shut down, the one that deals with like ex-players, things like their funeral costs and stuff. Like, I'm not sure where Joe Thompson is, where he was in life or something, but like his family and things would have at least had some sort of help from that charity. And it is a crying shame that they've had to shut it down because of Woodward and the Glazers and Murtaugh's complete mismanagement of our football club. The other thing I'd like to say about Delo, Mr. B, is Delo is in line for a new contract. Amorim wants to make him a kind of linchpin of his team. And for me, that's always quite a good indicator of like how to judge a player, is if a manager keeps picking someone, and if a manager has someone on for the most important moments in a match, like the way Maguire, Casemiro were on last night, that's a very, very good sort of reading into how they're viewed at the club.
So what's he on at the moment?
He's not on very much. I think the last I checked, he's on about 80 grand. Him and McTominay were noticeably below everyone else who played with the same frequency that they did. So I think he's going to be
what do you reckon? 120?
120.
Okay.
I think that's a fair deal.
I think that's fair. He's been there long enough. I think he's earned the right.
He's also a sellable asset. Like like we often sort of say, would this player get into a certain team or whatever? I think that Delo has a very, very good chance of getting into the Manchester City team. I think, with Trent gone, this might be cheating. He'd have a very good chance of getting into Liverpool. I think he'd have a good chance of getting into Arsenal. And they would all take him in their squad. So, he's a fullback, and I don't think you're getting more than 30 million for him. I think it would be very sensible for the club to kind of sign him up and focus keepers, strikers, a midfielder that can progress the ball through carrying stuff stuff like that. So I'm all right with Delo at the moment. I know everyone hates him here, but he's actually been one of our better players for the last 6 or 7 weeks.
Swings and roundabouts. Some weeks we love him, some weeks we hate him. We're sort of, it's what we do. This is what happens.
We'll always love Kobe Minu. Like,
just get it signed. Just get the contract signed. You know,
I can't have McTominay leaving and the next summer Kobe Minu leaving. That's not Manchester United.
Yeah.
We can't be gutting our young
youth.
Our youth, our boys. Yeah. And also, I find Kobe very funny when he's interviewed. He reminds me a lot of Paul Scholes in the fact that he's quite dour and boring, and I like that from my footballers. I don't like, you know,
front
characters.
page.
Like,
yeah, no, I hear that. You want I want characters on the pitch. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I want some characters off the pitch. I don't care if we never hear from them at all. You know, don't even tweet well done or tweet that you're happy or tweet anything. Have your account, fine. You know, but nothing, you know, just go and play. Bam. Low maintenance. Come in, do your job, go home. You know?
Yeah. Like, who would you say last night? I suppose we'll finish up quite soon. But who would you say last night, beyond the obvious, were the players with the personality and character? 3 goals in 7 or 8 minutes.
Say again. I missed the middle bit. I heard 7 to 8 minutes.
So in the 7 to 8 minutes, we scored 3 goals last night with the chips against us. Who were the players who showed character and personality to allow that to happen?
Definitely Casemiro.
Yeah.
You've got to look at Maguire because he shifted his position. Mainu's what Mainu does. He just does what he does. But I would give Casemiro and Maguire more like a higher standing level. But it's strange because Amorim spoke about one of the tactics that he had, and one of his tactics was just to leave Mount out wide to be crossing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that happened in the game? Was that noticeable?
No, because we went down Shaw and Amasis side, didn't we? So, like, I think, am I right in thinking Mount was on the right and they were on the left, and that Mount was basically just holding his position?
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. That's what he wanted him to do. Yeah.
You see, I think that's really, really good, to be honest, because you want to get involved and you want to do something, but you're sacrificing that desire to give the team the structure that they need to win and not be the hero, and for everyone to say, well, he didn't do anything.
Glory boy, yeah. He did it when he didn't have to be a Garnacho. He just did his job.
Yeah.
He did the team job. Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
I personally think Shaw and Amas actually were decent on the fact that there was so much emphasis on them to get themselves in space and time to put the ball into the box.
So when did Dorgu come off?
I don't know. Like, he came off for a mass, maybe 75. I'll check. Okay. Like, should we have a look at who the subs were?
Yes, please.
We still can't remember.
No, just out of curiosity.
We're the worst people to be doing this because neither me nor you can ever remember anything about a football match.
Yeah, but that's why we've got the chat. We've got the superstars in the chat.
All right, I'll have a look. But yeah, I think Amas deserves a little bit of love because there was a huge amount of pressure put on him, I feel, to make space and put the ball into the box. Right, Manchester United. So Mount came on 87. Eriksen came on 100. Shaw came on at half time. Amas at 100 and Kobe Mainu. So the subs were Mount and Mainu at 87. Shaw at half time. Eriksen and Amas basically extra time.
Extra time. Yeah, they played a lot of football. The guys who played the main games, they
absolutely need the rest, don't they?
Yeah. Give them the rotation. This one is from Vincent. I did see the video, Vincent. I was going to talk about it, but you have reminded me because I did say I was going to talk about beforehand. Since I was there and didn't watch it on TV, what did you guys think of the tifo and all of the fireworks?
No,
If you're not feeling that at all?
not for me at all. It is perfectly fine for other clubs, German clubs, things like that. It's for me, it's not what Manchester United do and stuff like that. It feels like a sort of like the globalization of sort of
A gimmick.
fandom. It's I understand the point. The point is to support the team and show all the captains who've won European trophies and stuff like that. And it's the fans trying to influence it. But I, I just it doesn't feel like a Manchester United thing to do to me. Like I think we have our flags, we have our chants, we have the most real thing is the noise that happens when Maguire scores. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
organic and it's natural. A tifo for me is like if you set up a new league in America or something like that. This is the sort of thing that they would think is fan culture, and it's not our fan culture to me.
I would, I get your point traditionally, but for European nights, especially the ones that meant as much as yesterday, I mean, how do you choose which game to put it in for? But if it's a European night thing, I I wouldn't have a problem it being something slightly different. Premier League, no, I wouldn't want it in the Prem.
Okay.
But the European, yeah, I didn't mind that. It made it a little bit more because like when you see the ultras, they just look so thuggish and frightening, and then you see these banners and you think these people ain't got no culture. They come to our ground and everything's so nice and polite and
Now this is why I love the Premier League because we don't have that kind of stuff. Like,
okay, yeah, just the intimidation part of it. I think when you go to when we go to you go Galatasaray
yeah,
on an away night and it's intimidating. Don't need it for the Prem, but for Europe, anything that would give us that maybe that aggressive edge, I would take. I would take.
I wouldn't because I tell you why. One of the reasons that I think the Premier League is so great is because crowds react to what is on the pitch, and like you've all heard, like "Don't wake up Anfield" and stuff like that. I think that the fans react to what's on the pitch, and it builds this momentum and inertia in games. With ultras, they are constantly making noise, and it's got nothing to do what is going on the pitch. And I don't, and for me, that is part of their football culture, and I respect it, and it's all fine. But it's not part of who we are, and I don't like the idea that like football and because we're moving into a new ground in the next 10 years. And I want to keep the traditions of the Stretford End and
I think that
Manchester
comes in.
United.
Maybe that's
I
why
don't.
they've
I don't.
started. Maybe
I've
that's why
seen
they've
that.
started doing it already, BT, just to
Yeah.
gauge what fans think. So
Well, Arsenal. Arsenal have the most cringy ultras in the world. They're called like Ashburton Grove or something. They all dress in black. They all have ski masks on, and they like bang a drum and try and set flares off. And it is just such a try hard. Yeah, it's really, really cringy.
that's the word.
And
I like that word. Try hard. I
yeah,
didn't know that. I didn't know that.
yeah, but they did it as a reaction to that they want more atmosphere in the Emirates and stuff. And I believe that the team and the fans should together build
Build that.
something
Okay.
that is unique to that place.
It's
And
like having speakers at the side of the pitch that you turn the volume
yeah,
up. Yeah, I hear you want it proper. Okay.
yeah. So I think it's like when you watch Everton play and they come out to it's something ridiculous like the theme tune to a 1960s cop
Yeah.
show. Is it Z
Six cars.
Cars?
Z cars. Yeah.
Like
Watford
that
do it as
is
well. Same tune that Watford come out
yeah.
to be fair.
It's so archaic and it's so stupid, but it's so unique to these teams that I think it's wonderful. Like, I remember when Bolton moved to the Reebok Stadium.
Reebok, yeah.
Bolton went to, and then they had like pyrotechnics and songs after the goal and stuff, and it just was ugh.
Yeah, I don't need the pyrotechnics and the goals.
Yeah,
but the tifo in European nights, I would take. I would take.
Look, if it was a tifo of Hang the Glazers or something like that, I'm all right with that. But I just it's It's not us. I think what you have to look at European nights, two things. First thing is it's not the same crowd as match goers, so it's going to have a different atmosphere. Like European nights are not always season ticket holders and things like that. It's it's the easiest games to get access for. And the second thing is you look at places like Celtic Park, like Anfield, like Ibrox and stuff like that. They have this kind of tradition around what they do at European nights. And I think it would be great if United organically developed one. But the Tifu has pretty much the same emotional resonance that a Mexican wave has to me. And I'm not a big fan of Mexican waves. What's so funny about that?
You said it has the same relevance as a Mexican wave.
Yeah.
It had European managers on the bathtime. You can't compare it to a Mexican bloody wave.
I can, because I think it's just as I think that it's performative for people like watching on the telly more than people there. And it's just woo, here's a flag. I'm not telling people how to support the club. I just don't think it's part of who we are.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, this is it. Ultras are not part of British culture, like British football culture. And I think it's so important that the culture of the country influences football. So you look at Italian football. Italy, I believe, is the most invaded nation of all time in Europe. And the people in Italy, because of that, have a defensive mentality. And that's where you get things like Catenaccio coming out of. So the football represents some innate part of being Italian. And I think that the reason so many people are so pissed off with football at the moment is that there aren't these sort of like cultural differences between
Everybody wants to play like Pep.
Yeah, exactly. And what I'm scared of is that with this era of like super stadiums that all look the same, we're going to kind of get the same thing and get more of a generic fan culture because they're pricing working class people out.
Yeah.
We won't get like shit on the Villa and stuff like that isn't going to happen anymore. It's just going to become more and more generic and
cheering just for your goal and no aggression against the opposition and no hatred. It's just
the tifo is the thin end of the wedge, Mr. B. It's how they're going to impose this upon us. And so that's why I don't like. That's why I didn't like the tifo or the fireworks.
Oh God, we'll have to see. T saying football is dying, and you only like crispy notes bath time.
I do like notes. I do like money. That's true.
See,
football isn't dying. It's just becoming. It's becoming homogenized. It's becoming the same. And you're not going to get like when you think about Maradona. All right. In Argentine culture, they have something that's really. Do you know Blackadder, Mr. B?
Yeah.
Right. So the premise of Blackadder is that you have a slave that is more intelligent than his master.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. This is basically what like Argentinian culture is about, is like deceiving like the idiots who are in charge. And so Maradona doing that handball against England when, they'd been at a war or something, it's so incredible to Argentines. It represents who they are as a people and how they think about themselves. The same way that Paul Ince with his headband on covered in blood, or Terry Butcher doing the same thing. There's something uniquely English about that moment, like bleeding for the shirt, as it were. It's something that really resonates with the people of England. And I think the kind of outcry against football is because all the culture has gone out of it, and you don't recognize yourself or your country or your football team or your mates in what you're seeing anymore. You just see this desire to emulate fucking Pep Guardiola. And that's what I think is happening. Would you reckon?
I think you're right. I mean, look, even at our level, people are still trying to play out from the back and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You see, you cuss it all the time, say they can't do it, don't do it. I think that's the thing that I learned this year, more towards the end of the season. Once the pitch isn't conducive to playing out from the back, the ball's got to go long, man.
Right, there are two reasons you become centre-half in England, in my opinion. One is your tool, and the second is you've got the biggest kick. Like that is what happens when you're 8 or 9.
And my centre backs aren't. My centre
Yeah.
backs aren't tall, and they don't whack the ball. I try.
Yeah.
They can, but their first thing is always to get down and play. But I suppose it's just what you're looking for as whatever your style. Everybody's got a perception of what they feel is the best way to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. It's just I am pleased though that you're not like so enslaved to playing out of the back.
Oh God,
because,
no. I've learned the hard way, man. It doesn't. No. If a player can't play and he's in that position, don't play. Do it your
They all want to though. I don't get it. Like
No,
you're not
see,
good enough
right,
to do it.
They all want to until they can't, and they get
Yeah.
cussed. And then they accept that if you can't do it and you're playing, don't try and play. There's a reason why you're playing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because you're the only one who can't play the ball short, and you're the one who we knock it long. You know what I mean? Just work out, get your role in the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Are we lacking notching it?
Yes, we are lacking notching it.
All right. Let's say goodbye to everyone. Right. On Sunday we're playing Wolves. Are you going to be doing a watch along?
I've got guests over, but it's but it's family. It's like
it's a family day, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, I know, but I'm still going to be watching the football, and they'll leave me to watch it. So it's not like, what time's the game on? Is it at 4:30?
It's 2.
Oh bugger!
Yeah, I think we shouldn't have a watch along, and the reaction show might be difficult because Easter is a time for
it's going to be families and stuff.
Yeah. So I think we do the reaction show on Monday, to be honest, and let everyone. Like there are loads of United channels.
But I tell you what though, but if we beat them 5-0, we're going to be doing a reaction show. So
obviously,
just look, guys. Okay, if we beat them well, this is going to be a reaction show. If we lose again, then we're going to be sulking, and we're going to be there on Monday with Mr. Positivity Yabba.
Yeah. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him if that happens. It's like a tyranny of being told. I have to sit there and listen to be told like to support Anana as I'm watching concede goal after goal.
He's the world's best. Don't worry, he's going to come good. Do you
think he's ever broken up with someone? Like, or he's let's see where we are in 2 years.
I think they've broken up with him. They've just been sick of his positivity. Yeah, we'll have to ask him. We can't but we will ask him. How much times have you been dumped? Are you the dumper or the dumpy? And he's gonna say he's gonna be the dumpy. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Guarantee.
But then again, he's so unpredictable. You never know what he's gonna say.
Oh God!
Like that time he once told us he'd never been beaten at a corner.
He said, "If Jesus gave me a
All right. So I think as it stands, we're probably going to be back on Monday, but from here at the agenda,
it could be Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy time with your family. And if you don't have one, or if you're alone or whatever, talk to someone. If it has to be me, it has to be me. But you shouldn't be talking to me about these things. I'm not a good thing. But like, just make sure you're all right and things, and enjoy your family.
I agree with that. So it's a lack a notch.
It's a lack a notch from me.
And a lack a notch from me.
Here we go.